that we're bringing to you, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at this. Kishvar flash floods. 42 bodies have been recovered so far. 42 people that have been declared dead as part of this flash flood, and 120 have been rescued by the SDRF and the NDRF. As per reports, over 100 people are still feared missing or swept away. This is the Kishvar cloudburst. We've been tracking developments right from the get-go when we got information early in the afternoon of a flash flood due to a cloudburst that happened in Kishvar. This is the Chashoti area, to be precise, and the Machail Mata Yatra, it essentially begins. This is the beginning point. So a lot of pilgrims over here as well. Earlier we were learning of an entire langar setup that had been swept away, with the SDRF and the NDRF, the local administration, swiftly coming into deployment and making sure that there are relief and rehabilitation camps that are set up for these pilgrims, for the tourists. And of course the locals. What we're also picking up is that after the cloudburst that were reported from Shimla yesterday, this is a third cloudburst that has happened up in the northern half of the country, up in the mountains. What message is our lower Himalayan belt trying to tell us? The climate catastrophe and what it actually entails for all of us. Time for us to pull up our socks and really go back to the drawing board, talk about what needs to happen in terms of policy reforms, in terms of encroachment, not just by the government officials, not just by the local authorities, but by outsiders as well, entrepreneurs, businessmen alike. We need to understand what is troubling our mountains. Cloudbursts and hanging glacial lakes overflowing, incidents being reported day after another. Take a look at that. All these pilgrims that early in the day had to be evacuated for everything that came in the wake and in the way of the flash floods got swept away. Some visuals also tell us about how portions of the entire mountainous region in Kishvar in Jammu and Kashmir has caved in. Sludge, debris, all of it coming through. The death toll has now risen to 42, unfortunately. Rescue operations still underway. NDRF, SDRF teams and the local authorities with the administration and the police on the ground as well. And needless to say, the search is on for all those that are still feared, trapped or missing. 100 still feared, trapped or missing. 120 others that have been rescued so far. But unfortunately, 42 people that have lost their lives due to the Kishvar flash floods. Monsoon fury from the length and breadth of the country that we're receiving visuals. Cars, mangled metal, anything that came in the way of the flash floods completely destroyed. All those gas cylinders that you see could have been a major fire catastrophe and hazard as well. 42 people that have lost their lives. Confirmed death toll stands at 42, 120 rescued, 100 or so still feared, trapped or missing. My colleague Aditya Rajkol joins us on the phone line here. Aditya, what are the latest developments that we're getting right now? Any update on that death toll or the figures that we're tracking? Gruesome scenes being reported from Kishvar, 42 people that have lost their lives.
Well, that's right. Unfortunate developments coming in from Kishvar, where we know now that there's been a massive cloudburst which resulted in flash floods and a lot of destruction in that entire area. There was a Machail Yatra, a pilgrimage that was also underway, and that's why a lot of vehicles were affected. As of now, massive rescue operations are underway. We know as per initial reports that the death toll stands around 42, but the death toll can climb much, much higher. As of now, I've spoken to the Divisional Commissioner of Jammu, who has just moved from Jammu towards Kishvar. He'll take some time to reach there. But the NDRF, the J&K police, the Indian Army, the paramilitary and the local authorities are at it, along with the SSP and the DC of Kishvar. They're trying their best to rescue the people. There are more than 70 people who are currently in different local hospitals in Kishvar and the neighboring areas. We had the initial statement from the Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha. We also know that Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has cancelled the cultural programs on the occasion of the Independence Day tomorrow. While there will be a flag hosting ceremony and the defense march past, but apart from that, the cultural festivals, the cultural festivity, and of course the at-home reception tomorrow stands cancelled. So as of now, the entire J&K administration, along with the forces, are trying their best to rescue the people. Unfortunately, more than 100 people remain missing. So it's a very unfortunate development that's come in because of the cloudburst and the flash floods. We will, of course, keep our viewers updated. But as of now, it does seem that the death toll is at 42 dead bodies. 42 dead bodies have been recovered, and the rescue operations continue at a war footing.
Absolutely, Aditya. Many thanks for joining us here. Our hopes and prayers with those that have lost their loved ones, and let's also hope that good sense prevails for the SDRF and the NDRF are there on the ground, rescue and rehabilitation and the repair work absolutely going on a war footing. All right then, from here, shifting our focus back to our main segment on In Your Interest, and this is exactly what we have for you in store tonight. It's the same story, year after year, the same headlines, the same visuals, the same Delhi paralysis. Today, the rain gods lashed the capital and Delhi buckled. A tragedy in Kalkaji after a tree crashed onto a bike, killing a 50-year-old man and injuring his daughter. The morning rush hour turned into a nightmare as well, completely paralyzed. Gridlocks across the city, major intersections drowned, while scooterists had to wade through waist-deep water. And water then enters the premier medical facility in the city as well. On the corridors of the AIIMS, the Yamuna surges dangerously close to the warning mark, especially at the old railway bridge point. And the IMD has now issued a red alert. And yes, even the elite addresses, the posh localities, the hunky-dory, swanky-looking localities of Delhi were also swamped under relentless rain. Every downpour, every subsequent incessant rainfall exposes the chronic failures. Bumper to bumper gridlock, broken promises, excuses that come way after, and city-wide paralysis.
आज सुबह कालका जी के हंसराज सेठी मार्ग पे बारिश की वजह से एक पेड़ गिर गया, एक व्यक्ति की मौत हो गई। उनकी बेटी अभी एम्स अस्पताल में अपनी जान के लिए लड़ रही है। इस बारिश में होने वाली ये पहली मौत नहीं है। राखी के दिन 9 लोगों की मौत हो गई क्योंकि वाटर लॉगिंग की वजह से एक दीवार गिर गई। हर बार दिल्ली में बरसात हुई है, लोगों की मौत हो रही है। हर बरसात में दिल्ली झील बन गई है, लोग नाव चला रहे हैं, स्विमिंग कर रहे हैं। ये फेलियर है भारतीय जनता पार्टी की 4 इंजन की सरकार का, ये फेलियर है पीडब्ल्यूडी विभाग का, और हमने मांग करी है कि रेखा गुप्ता जी जो मुख्यमंत्री हैं तुरंत प्रभाव से अपने कैबिनेट से प्रवेश वर्मा जी को बर्खास्त करें। किसी को तो इन जिंदगियों की जिम्मेदारी लेनी होगी।
आज फिर बारिश हुई और बारिश में पूरे दिल्ली में लोग घर से निकलना लोगों का दूभर हो गया। ये कहते थे कि हमें 2 इंजन की सरकार बनेगी तो दिल्ली में सब ठीक हो जाएगा। अब तो पता नहीं कितने इंजन की सरकार है, लेकिन दिल्ली की बारिश ने इनकी सारी इंजन को फेल कर दिया और लोग अब दिल्ली की सड़कों पर नौकायन कर रहे हैं, नौका विहार कर रहे हैं। दिल्ली के अगर मई से आप आंकड़े देखें तो इस बारिश में 2 दर्जन लोगों की मौत हो चुकी है, बल्कि उससे ज्यादा लोगों की मौत हो चुकी है। बड़ी बड़ी बात करने वाली भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार रील बनाकर लोगों के बीच में रील वाली सरकार, क्या उनकी कोई जिम्मेदारी नहीं है?
From real to reality, why is this the capital's fate every subsequent monsoon? The last drainage master plan, and here's where the details get murkier. The last drainage master plan was prepared back in 1976. And back then, drains designed to handle about 50 millimeters of rain in 24 hours. This year, on the 20th of June, we had 228 millimeters. Not just that, 1/4 of the drains are not even desilted before the monsoon seasons actually hit. Encroachments and illegal constructions are now blocking water flow. You've got sewage and stormwater lines that are combined, which is not seen in developed cities across the world. and is leading to this overflow and filth. Sewage and rainwater drainage system collectively flowing through together. And we've had a report after report. IIT Delhi says separate stormwater from sewage, just like global cities. Niti Aayog suggests restoring wetlands, build climate resilient infrastructure. Down to earth report says to upscale flood resilience. But all we get are committees, panels, studies, but no action plan per se. Again mentioning the last master plan for Delhi was made way back in 1976. And whilst Delhi stagnates, cities abroad lead with integrated solutions. Shanghai uses green roofs and rain gardens to absorb water. In Singapore, they use real-time sensors for the same. Tokyo in Japan has stormwater tunnels the size of cathedrals. Germany won't allow you to build any kind of construction in the floodplain, something that is not paid heed to at all in the national capital. And then Delhi, we still have a plan from 1976 gathering dust. And that brings us to the big questions that we're trying to decode. Can the national capital really claim to be a world-class city when only a few hours of rain brings it to its knees? More importantly, who will take responsibility for this capital collapse? When will promises finally stand strong against the storm? Joining me here on the broadcast, Dr. Sudhir Krishna, former Urban Secretary, Government of India and Chairman, Smart Cities Technical Committee, BIS. Vandana Sinha, spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party, always a pleasure to have you. Bhanu Chandra Nagarajan, political analyst, and Ambika Bhargav, senior architect and civic activist. I'm going to quickly begin with you, Bhanu. Let's get the ball rolling here. A lot of political war of words that is also ensued. We do need to talk about that as well, because when we talk about who's going to be accountable for this, it has to be our politicians, isn't it? Now, the Aam Aadmi Party says that this tragedy that happened today in Kalkaji and the incessant rainfall, it shows the complete collapse of the four-engine Sarkar, the four-engine government. What do you think is the BJP's concrete evidence for the administration? Because I remember Parvesh Verma saying that we've done all kinds of preparedness, everything has been checked before the monsoon season, but lo and behold, today a daughter lost a father because of incessant rainfalls, clamped up roads, and then a major tree falling on that scooter as well.
Kabir, the urban infrastructure in India in general leaves a lot to be desired. Okay, nobody can hold a candle to it. But let me get to a few nuanced points. Okay, first is we cannot, compare. Take stock of an infrastructure of a city based on heavy climatic changes or heavy climate events. Okay, the great cities that you mentioned, Shanghai, Paris, New York, all of these, even New York recently you would have seen was flooded. New Jersey was flooded, like Paris was flooded, even like, Copenhagen and Stockholm were flooded. So, I mean, I'm not saying like, we have that much infrastructure, but I'm saying that like, extreme climate events are something that you cannot judge yourself by. Okay, number one. Number two, so are we doing much better? Are we doing the adequate to even like, get through like normal climatic events? My answer is no, like we have to do much better, right? So see, India is like growing crazy, like, around 50% of our population is almost urban, like, maybe we reach there in a couple of years. There are tier 2 cities that are getting like, better facilities, but mega cities like Delhi have to pull their socks up. But having said that, this politicization of the infrastructure development is sort of, has been the bane of Delhi. In fact, like the sanctimony with which Atishi Marlena was just speaking about infrastructure was like what's not in great taste, because like they didn't do anything in the last 10 years. In fact, much could have been done. In fact, this could have been stopped. So you see this usual like the Minto Road subway, right? That has become the iconic place to see whether like infrastructure in Delhi is up to the mark or not. But that is actually getting better. So what I'm trying to say is, instead of politicization, we have to see like our own cities like Indore and Surat, which have done much better. Take those examples and build better.
Okay. Vandana Sinha also with us on the broadcast. Before we bring in the architectural experts and of course, urban planners who are also with us on the broadcast. Vandana, you've attacked the BJP for the failure, but we all know you've governed Delhi for about 10, 12 years now. What did the Aam Aadmi Party government do, particularly in terms of helping the drainage systems, the stormwater drainage systems? Because blaming the other party in the national capital whilst Delhi drowns is just a big political loop. We're going to get nowhere. And I understand if the Aam Aadmi Party wanted to use all the exchequer's money for welfare and all those other schemes, but did the Aam Aadmi Party not even once think or do anything about stormwater drainage over the last decade?
Kabir, see, what have been seen does not need any proof. First of all, my condolences to the family who lost their life in this disaster. And the life was not, they have not lost their life because of the natural calamity. This is because of the lack of management from the BJP government, present government. See, as far as Aam Aadmi Party was concerned, if you take out the pictures, even the last pictures or the previous few clips for the last year when the Aam Aadmi Party was there, if there was a rain, if there was a downpour, I think the entire MLAs along with the ministers, they are in the ground zero. But where are the MPs?
That's again face saving, Vandana ji. That's again face saving. I'm trying to understand what was done on that master plan for Delhi, Vandana ji.
So now this is what happened with that Aam Aadmi Party. We tried a lot. This is what we are doing when we were into government. We tried a lot to resolve the problem. But what BJP government did? It's been 6 months now when the monsoon was going to be started. It was Pravesh Verma, it was Rekha Gupta. They were interviewing to all the media saying that we are totally prepared with the management of Delhi for the monsoon. So I think they have said, they also said that we have desilting the entire drainage system. They have spent crores of rupees for this desilting. Now the entire Delhi wanted to know where this exactly the budget has been gone. Because it's been 2 months and now I think we have 2 dozens of the cases where the people has lost their life. Now they have 4 engines government. Because when the Aam Aadmi Party was there, we have a conflict with the central government. Every time we had an interference. But what about now? The Delhi has the 4 engine government, the central, the MCD, the Delhi government. But even though that's a totally failure of the BJP government, we have seen what happened at the occasion of Raksha Bandhan. 8 people has lost their life. Today we all have seen what happened in the Kalkaji. That 50 years old person has died because of the lack of the management of this government. So who will be the accountable for all this? Blaming.
How exactly was that lack of management? I mean, if you're only talking about the Kalkaji episode, the Kalkaji fatal episode, that deadly accident, I mean, the tree fell down, right? That could have happened to anybody on any day under any government's nose. But of course, we've got some expert panelists also with us on the broadcast. Dr. Krishna, former Urban Secretary, GOI and Chairman, Smart Cities Technical Committee, BIS. Dr. Krishna, help us understand. You've heard, Banu speak on the matter. You've heard the Aam Aadmi Party representative speak on the matter. Who's really at fault here? And why are we still sitting on that 1976 master plan? Why isn't anything being done on that? We see buildings get created, building after building, encroachment after encroachment, but what's happening for the drainage system? Nobody talks about that. We all want swanky lawns, but where does the water go? We don't want to be bothered with it.
Well, I think that the Delhi flooding during rains has 2 dimensions. One which is confined to Delhi, NCT of Delhi, and second is beyond Delhi, the NCR. Because the drainage system has to be seen in the context of watershed, and watershed goes beyond the NCT boundaries up to the NCR boundaries, So there has to be a drainage plan for the NCR. The water has to come from outside Delhi boundaries and also go outside Delhi boundaries in one or the other way. So therefore, drainage plan, which you have more than once highlighted, very rightly so, Kabir, very rightly you have highlighted the master plan. So the master plan has to be updated for the region as a whole. The NCR region's drainage plan has to be updated, number one. And then in conjunction with that, the Delhi's master plan for drainage has to be updated, number 2. And then local, the zonal level plans are there, they have also to be updated. This is number 1 point. And then question is who will do it? Now, it is done by NCR, there is NCR planning board, and for the Delhi, it is the Delhi Development Authority. Now the question is that why the maintenance is poor? Because planning is one side and whatever planning is there, is it being maintained or not? So you have rightly said that maintenance has not happened properly, and the reason is that the drains are owned by the appurtenant road owning agency. And roads in Delhi are owned by more than 2 dozen agencies own the road. It may be the state government, it may be the MCD, or it may be so many authorities are there, irrigation department may be there, Also the defense establishments also own some roads, etc. And drainage are owned by the pertinent that agencies which own the road. And therefore there is no synchronization among the agencies before the monsoon.
Dr. Krishna, you're painting a rather grim picture. I mean, we're trying to understand whether we're going to be able to update the master plan of 1976 and this hodgepodge planning, goof up that you're talking about. I mean, it's already set us 50 years back in time. We're already 50 years late on this master plan. Ambika Bhargav, senior architect, civic activist, from an engineering standpoint and from an architectural standpoint, how much of this flooding is poor planning versus poor maintenance?
Thank you so much for having me here. It's very unfortunate to know that people are losing lives because of such problems. And it's not just a matter of the natural calamity we just had. The issue is, as you mentioned earlier, the master plan which was designed in 1976, it was for a limited population of around 50 lakh people. But now if we see in 2025, the population of Delhi has risen up to around 3 crores, 3.5 crores rather. And if we include the whole NCR, it would be even more. So the master planning really needs to be revised according to the population and the haphazard planning that we are seeing everywhere. Because old structures that are already there, they have very organic growth. There is no proper planning of the city, and it should be on two levels. First is the operational level, in which we have to revise we have to make a proper survey of the existing infrastructure that we have, including the drainage system, as well as how we are handling the solid waste. Because solid waste, if it is not managed properly, it again clogs all the existing.
You're absolutely right.
We have.
We're worried about our airports. We're worried about our, swanky IT parks. We're worried about sport complexes. But we're not worried about where the water is going to go, what happens to our garbage disposal. And I've got some data here in front of me. The total geographical area of the National Capital Territory of Delhi stands at 1,483 square kilometers. Last drainage master plan was prepared in the year 1976. Population of Delhi in 1976 was 60 lakh. Population of Delhi as per 2011 census is 167 lakh. Population projected as per MPD 2021 is 250 lakh, and the present urbanized area in Delhi is half of that 1483 square kilometers. Bhanu Chandar, what does the government now need to do? Shouldn't the government now come out and instill more confidence in the people? Yamuna was a poll issue, so it was highly, speculated, flashy slogans. It was part of the poll planks, but not so much when it comes to the monsoon. And I'm again mentioning that the government of the day, currently BJP, had promised that they had kept in mind the preparedness ahead of the monsoons, but we're again looking at these acrimonious scenes on the streets of Delhi. Shouldn't the government tomorrow, or as a matter of fact, as of yesterday, call on a meeting with all the stakeholders together just to instill confidence in the locals, in the residents of Delhi?
Absolutely, Kabir. See, the government has to do two things. Like, one is the short term and the long term. The long term is something both of the experts spoke quite eloquently about, right? Like, how the drainage master plan has not been done for such a long time and all that, right? And also this exponential increase in population, which you mentioned in your statistics, are actually compounding problems, right? So obviously, when you look at the long term, we have to plan for the population growth and the expansion of infrastructure and so on and so forth, and that is that. But I'm actually wondering what the government will do as a band-aid, as a short-term measure to cure some of the problems that we face. Okay, this is not just related to flooding that we see. Like, even solid waste management, which the other person was mentioning, it is one of the causes of the stray dog issue that's also like in the news now, right? So I think transportation, housing, we are facing growth pangs, I would say, because of the great influx of rural population searching for jobs and all that stuff. And I think this is not just a problem related to Delhi, but I mean we are facing this problem in Bangalore, we are facing this problem in Mumbai, and so on and so forth. But the tier 2 cities, I just want to conclude by saying this: the tier 2 cities, if you travel to say Meerut, if you travel to say Indore, if you travel to Coimbatore, Batinda, see, these places are handling this much better because they are smaller and they are not just facing this extreme influx of
population. So then it boils down to execution. From your own example, it boils down to execution. And in a place like Delhi, where you have a 4-engine sarkar, which is what the Aam Aadmi Party says, and of course, questions for the Aam Aadmi Party still, they remain. Because Vandana ji, you also have to tell the viewers what was done in terms of modernizing the drainage plan when the Aam Aadmi Party was at the helm of affairs. Was any of the IIT studies, any of those studies, put out in public for them to know and understand what was coming their way? Or was it always going to be, let's talk about electricity, let's talk about schools and healthcare, and then people wouldn't necessarily need to think about all these issues at hand? So whilst Atishi goes out hitting against Rekha Gupta and Parvesh Verma, one will have to of course ask, what did the Aam Aadmi Party do over the last decade? And you're saying we tried our best. Point out 2 things that was done in terms of the drain water system. Barish ho gayi, phir MLA sadak pe hai. Those are optics, madam. That's at least my limited opinion.
Kabir, this is what I was also trying to speak. When it was raining, when the Aam Aadmi Party government was there. So if you see that last 2 decades, so for last 2 years, that the average of that downpour was more than whatever happened this year. So even though that time the Aam Aadmi Party was able to manage it, but even for the 2 months, even though the water flow is not the way that it had happened in last year, even though the BJP is not able to manage in last one, you have seen that for last 2 months what is happening. Every day whenever it is raining, every day we have a tragedy news from them. So this is how that BJP is dealing with that rain. Because when BJP came into the government, I have seen many reels from Rekha Gupta, I have seen many reels from Pravesh Verma, PWD minister, saying that if there is any water logging in the Delhi, I will suspend all the officers. I just wanted to ask from the Pravesh Verma, where are the suspension of the officers? And at the same time, the Rekha Gupta
Let's wait and find out. Well, let's wait and find out whether the suspensions happen or not. But this suspension and political blaming, it's just a drastic loop. We don't want to, pressurize our residents with this. They want to get to work. They want to get back home, and they want nice roads to do that. I've completely run out of time here. I'm going to quickly ask my control room whether I have 30 seconds to give to Dr. Krishna, if that's possible. All right, Dr. Krishna, last 30 seconds to you. Sir, please wrap up the show. What should be the larger message out now to the government?
Straight away, I will say that the Delhi government, the Delhi Development Authority should take the lead, and the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, who is chairman of DDA, and also in some way he heads the government of Delhi. In some way, he is the unifying force for all the government agencies in Delhi. He must immediately swing into action, put everybody together, and clear up this mess. It should be possible. I don't think money is an issue. I don't think the staff is a challenge. Only thing is that the unifying everybody and doing things is
unifying thing. Execution seems to be the problem, and political brinkmanship is also spoiling this entire aspect. Let's hope that good sense prevails and we're able to better govern our national capital. And next year, next monsoon, we don't have to see Delhi come down to its knees. That's all the time we have for you in this edition of In Your Interest. It's important to talk about these things. Top developments right on the other side. Keep it with News 9. Associate sponsor, Dyna Premium Beauty Soap. पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत.
Score condoms?
It's over there.
क्या ये different sizes में आता है?
Actually, sir, size matter नहीं करता.
तो फिर क्या matter करता है?
The hardness
of the condom.
Time Ever presenting Hard Rock Gel, the hardness gel for men.
अब free हर score condoms के 10 pack के साथ.
Chandigarh, Coimbatore, NCR and Bangalore, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Raipur and Hyderabad. We've been here, we've been there. Veka's been just everywhere.